everyone, and warm welcome to our very first webinar of the year from Aibidia's behalf. We are very excited to talk about why automation alone isn't enough to fix TP documentation. And before we deep dive into today's menu or the agenda itself, let us introduce ourselves very quickly. So I'm Sami, part of the sales team at Aibidia, been with the company for 4 years already, and I'm looking after our larger clients and also helping them with compliance and OTP matters. And I have a pleasure to have my colleague Simo here as well. Over to you, Simo.
Yeah, thanks, Sami, and welcome also everyone on my behalf. I'm Simo, one of the co-founders of IPDia, working on this topic for almost 10 years now. Nowadays, more focused on the product side, new developments, improving existing solutions, the platform, but also talking a lot with clients and companies all over the world to keep my finger on the pulse. What's the latest trends and expectations, and we'll be touching on those as well today. Yeah, thanks, Sami.
Thank you, Simo. And just for those who might not know IBDA that well just yet, I'll have a few words about us before we go to today's menu. So we are a Finnish-based technology company. We work a number of large clients. To name a few, we work with Valeo, Nokia, Unilever, and companies like that. But we also serve very small multinationals, which highlights the point that the technology that we are providing for our clients is highly flexible and scalable for different use cases. And we do also have a number of strategic partnerships, namely IPFD, and then a few advisors as well. Today we are close to 100 people, and then we operate in three locations. So we have headquartered in Helsinki, and then we have London and New York as offices as well. On the agenda today, so we will be first covering a few words about the market, so what we are hearing from the market today, and then we will be covering a few words from our clients, so how they do feel and how they work with us, and then a few words about the how do we approach transfer pricing technology and GP in overall from IBD's point of view, and then we will dive right into the actual product demo. So we'll get practical and showcase you the platform. And then finally, we will leave some room for the Q&As. So if you have any questions, then we can cover those. During the webinar, you can ask any questions at any point in time, if you like. You can type them in the right-hand side, and then we will cover those at the end. So that's helpful. So every year we are conducting this TP industry report. Last year, 25, we conducted that, and there was 140 participants taking part into the survey. A couple of weeks back, when I was at the corporate tax and transfer pricing conference in Frankfurt, there were a few topics that was discussed: automation, audit readiness, AI, data, and among many other topics. So, Simo, how are these aligned with the report that we have released recently?
Yep, thanks, Sami. So basically, the report released late last year, I would say, correlates very well. Uh, First of all, companies are looking for to be more audit ready because they are facing increasing audit pressure, more often, more aggressive, more detailed, and needing to spend a lot more money on those managing those audits. And as part of the increasing amount of audits and overall regulation, it seems that most of the companies feel ready for the increasing workload and also the costs involved. And as a reaction to that, we can see a rapid increase in technology adoption because it's not anymore a choice or luxury, but it has become basically a necessity to manage the increasing pressure. And related to that, all of this what Sampo mentioned, having a good data management, good quality data, and automation on top of that, AI supporting in different work streams is the way how to be audit ready. That with words, I would say.
Yeah, and the same topics were pretty much mentioned in the conference a couple of weeks back. Um, then we have a few words from our clients. So oftentimes when we work with the clients, there are a couple of things that we are facing pretty much every time, and then time savings is one very apparent thing that we are looking into, that we are looking to solve with the technology. So, for example, Trimming Packaging, one of our clients, earlier they used to spend days and days preparing one local file, but nowadays they can do it in less than hours. So we're looking at a few hours to complete the documentation, really. And then another case that we are seeing, which is well aligned with what Simo mentioned, is with Yangfeng, and they are talking about the audit readiness. So whenever an audit comes, then they can quickly generate the local files when they need from the platform, and then they can hand them over to the tax authorities. That's
Yeah, and I can elaborating maybe a bit on that. What we will try to also communicate in the demo recording. You will see in a minute that audit readiness, in my mind, is almost more like a byproduct of
yeah,
a well managed data and process and technology. So instead of being reactive on audits, you would effectively come proactive, as you can see here. What Rafael's testimony tells us, that when you get that request, you don't need to panic. You have not, if everything most is there, and with few steps you are able to fulfill the needs. But you will see a bit more what this can mean in action. And maybe before the demo regarding some, if you can explain a bit how we approach in solving this big thing in general.
absolutely. Yes, happy to. So our approach, if you look at the platform from the bird eye view, how that looks like, is that we consolidate the data on a one purpose built single platform essentially, and uh, it can consume both structured and unstructured data. So essentially, once that data is on the platform, then that becomes harmonized and structurized according to our common data model. And then that can be utilized for different applications that are within the platform. Um, so that acts as like a one source of truth for all of your TP data. And then you can collaborate with your team as well within the platform. Today, the main focus area would be around TP documentation. So we will be showcasing that to you. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can again type them in the chat, and then we will cover those at the end in the Q&A session. So next we will be moving on to the actual demo, which will be led by Simo.
So let's start the demo. And in this demo, I'm aiming to very shortly show you how a well-managed transfer pricing process and well-managed transfer pricing data operating on a platform designed for transfer price automation can almost as a byproduct ensure that you are audit ready, and then how AI can be a supporting um, companion for you when you are preparing for tax audits and managing those tax audits. So let's assume you are a tax TP manager named John, Jackie, whatever your name might be. So you get a notification for tax audit in, let's say, Austria. You come to the Aibidia platform, and depending on what areas of your transfer pricing you have automated, you could also have your operational TP solution activated. But for now, let's work and look only on the TP documentation side. So we will log into the Aibidia platform. First of all, as I got this notification, I want to check my status on the my TP documentation in Austria. So you can see my Austrian entity here is under review. Priority is already high, so I don't need to change that due to the tax audit. And then I could check if I'm required to provide the local file as I am above the requirements. So yes, that's the case. So we maintain this regulatory information for you. And then you can, on a more detailed level, check the data status, what sections are completed and what not. This is especially useful if you're operating with a larger team, providing their part of the information. So let's assume I would be relying on a local Austrian controller filling in part of the information. I could set them a task that please finalize entity description data for Austria because that was not completed. And then you can put a chat icon here that, hey, we get a tax audit notification. So we really need to speed this up. So this will send them an automatic email notification. And then also importantly for the process perspective, it will automatically send also reminders as the task deadline is approaching. And then from process perspective, you can also set limited access. So if you want the person only to be able to see and edit the Austrian data. So that's on the workflow management side. So then how to make sure you have the data well managed as well. So the solution works as a centralized data repository for your compliance data. So here you have sections for your entity data, policy data, agreements, benchmarks, transactions, all in designated areas in a correct context, in a structured way. So for example, if we go to the entity description, we can see that it's not finalized. And here you can also see that there are designated sections for different data points like business strategy, where you would maintain this information, update it when needed, roll over all these for the next year to get the benefit of scalability. You can add pictures, tables here as you can see. So now if we assume, let's say the local controller comes in, they would only see the Austrian entity, they update if needed, and then they mark that as complete. So then you as a full user, you can see all the status, so you can check that, okay, Austria is now ready as well regarding this specific data point. But this is also then automatically reflected to your documentation status details. So now we can see that the entity description has been also completed. So now if we go a bit further with the data, so we took a look at the entity data example, then you would have your policies, legal agreements, benchmarks, all stored in their correct context. If you add the attachments, those will be automatically added on the platform. Your transactions, which you can upload from Excel. And then the document generation works as we call in a data-driven way. So what this means is that once we have the transactions, we have the policies, we run a mapping exercise, and this operates as a key for the system so that it knows automatically which policies are relevant for that specific entity. So you don't have to worry about maintaining templates for multiple different kind of entities. The system will automatically pick up multiple policies if you are a complex multifunctional entrepreneur, or then the only, let's say, distribution if you're a simple distributor. And then before generating the file, you can do a final quick check to see that everything is at arm's length. So now it compares your outcomes to your benchmark ranges, and you can quickly filter and check if there's any one outside. And then hopefully that's not the case, especially if you have a well-managed operational TP setup. But if that's the case, you can then also apply a description here why you still were operating at the arm's length according to arm's length policies. But then once we are happy with the data, we can create the document. So you can see here my Austrian entity, it has automatically picked up 18 transactions, 9 different attachments, legal agreements, benchmarks. I can also freely add any other kind of attachments from our generic resources section. Then I will ask the system to generate the local file. I can also assign a threshold to leave out smaller transactions. And then it will basically create me in a few seconds both the attachment file, for example, with the benchmark attachments, and then the actual local file as well comes out in Word. So you can see here on the left side menu the structure. You get your local file introductions on org charts, management structure from the entity section, and then your business strategy descriptions, so forth. And then highlighting once more, at any point we didn't create a template for a certain kind of entity. In this case, you can see it's pretty complex entity with multiple different type of policies, so it automatically picked up those policies for this entity based on the transactions of the entity. So as an example here, my contract manufacturing Europe policy with my free-form description, transaction facts of the type and parties and values, the functional analysis, both parties, economic analysis on the method, attested party indicator, benchmark applied, range applied, and then my outcome, which is now in the range. So I automatically get this text. And then I would go to the next policy and so forth. So here, as you can see, once you have the process data well managed, you are very easily able to come up with the audit-ready local files. Then we come to the AI, how that can support you further. So effectively, we have existing AI functionalities and then upcoming that are currently under work. So last year we launched TP Aurora jointly with IPFD, so it's a joint development effort. Effectively, an AI research assistant curated and using only IPFD data. So then I could, for example, ask questions like what to consider for a tax audit in Austria. So it starts processing my questions, starts going through the IPFD database documents, looking for supporting materials on this specific question. It will first generate you the summary answer, and then also what is nice, it will also create you the links to the original document as reference. And you can ask questions around any, let's say, local requirements, IPs, things like these. So what to consider in general, and here you can see also then links to the original sources where you can go into the details on the specific items. And then on an upcoming initiatives is that now we are expanding the AI capabilities from research assistant to more, let's say, holistic supporting AI companion, which effectively will perform reviews on your data, looking for any kind of discrepancies. It can suggest you texts, descriptions if you don't have them. So going more or towards automating these kind of ways and supporting with AI. And then as a natural part of that is building agents supporting on specific tasks. So for example, upcoming AI functionality would be tax audit assistant, Aibidia controversy management, where let's say now I have a tax audit in Austria. I would select for which years I need to provide information, which entity would be part of that analysis, and then it will review the existing documentation, and then you could check which files are relevant for the entity, local files, master files, benchmark agreements, so forth. And then you can ask it to run risk analysis on finding any discrepancies and so forth of different severity. And then you can also check the details here, and then finally it would also help you to prepare a package for the defense case. So that on a very shortly how a well-managed process and data built on top of TP technology platform can help you to be audit ready, and then how AI can support you both in the preparation of the compliance process and then prepping for your tax audits, managing those tax audits. So thanks for attention.
Great. Thank you, Simon, for the demo. Now we are moving into our last section of the day, which is the Q&A session. So if you have any questions about the demo that you just saw, you can type them in the chat, and then we will cover them one by one. As warm-up question, while we are waiting others to type their questions, I can ask one question from you, Simo. So, how is our approach different, or how is our AI approach different compared to others out there? What would you say?
Uh, yeah, very shortly, I would say that as you all very well know, I will be actually about AI a topic. I will be actually discussing this in June in TP Minds, most likely as a plug for that event. But that AI is probabilistic in nature, and when we are dealing with compliance, we want certain and accurate answers. So this is why, first of all, with our TP Aurora research assistant, it was basically jointly developed with IPFD, running multiple rounds of TP professional validations of the outcomes, and then curating the model and the agent to improve on areas. And then this is the philosophy that we apply and now are building more capabilities around AI. Is the basic philosophy of how to make sure that we get the benefits from AI to be able to understand and analyze non-structured data, but effectively coming up with accurate and reliable outcomes, so that if you ask or press a button, you don't get different answer every time. So this is the background on our approach, where we are training the agents and using the uh, LLM models and curating them with the transfer pricing context, so that it understands how our technology works. It understands how the data structure behaves, how different data points relate to each other, and in that way ensuring that you get as impactful and accurate answers from the AI with these new capabilities. So that as a short answer on those.
Thanks. And then I'm just checking that there are no questions from the audience, so I'll go with another one. So, from your point of view, what do you think that data management is the key to automation and compliance, and just generally for the whole GPU full life cycle management?
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone has heard the old saying of garbage in, garbage out. So no matter how great technology or AI you put on top of things, there's a limit how much efficiency you and impact you can get out of it if your data quality is poor, uh, or data management is poor. So this is, I would say, few ways how we help in this. So first is that we maintain the data on our platform in a very structured way. You can of course have your free form descriptions and write-ups, but in a way they are always stored on a correct context. So this helps you to identify gaps. And then as part of our implementation, when we cover your existing documentation and pre-populate the platform, we also raise flags on these gaps or inconsistencies that we face in the current documentation. And then also as part of the more recent AI initiatives, then AI supporting on fixing the data by exposing any inconsistencies in the data. So that's more on the unstructured side. And then on the structured side, if we talk about financial data like transactional data or for operational TP segmentation of your financials, is that we have a very good process and best practices on uh, how to basically break down the logical rules you need to set up in order for your financial data to behave well. If you have any new data, you will get alerts, for example, in OTP that, hey, you have new accounts, new entities you have not mapped previously. Please go here and secure that. Uh, yeah, things like these. And again, the approach will expose you that, for example, when you're identifying your transactions, that hey, these are currently transactions where you are uh, missing any rules for identification. So do you want to keep them as one-off or try to find a good rule to how the system should manage those? So those on a surface level ways how we support our new clients and existing clients in data work.
Mm, that makes sense. Thank you, Simo. Looks like that we don't have any further questions from the audience for now. So we would like to thank you for your attention. And if you'd like to have more detailed demonstration on one of the solutions within the platform, then you can reach out to Simo or myself, and then we can book in some time. So thank you so much for joining, and looking forward to our next webinars to come. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks everyone. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye bye.